Hello, everybody! Hope you're all having a pretty nice holiday day. This is basically the same thing I did last year, of just... Here's a stream. I'll be going for probably a while. Don't know exactly how long. Just want to stream for a bit. Because may as well have a nice chill place for people to come hang out if they've got nowhere else to hang out. I got really nothing better to do other than just sleep, so, you know. May as well. And then we've got American Truck Sim. Because it's always a good time. That's a nice drive. I've also got some music in the background. You guys will have to let me know if it's like too loud, annoying. I like having music in the background. And this is supposedly royalty free. I hope. Ooh, okay, my controls are not. My controls aren't working. Options. Keys and buttons. It is not detecting my controller. Okay, how do I set that up? Probably over here. I don't know which of these I want. I think that. I just want simple, man. Okay. Oh, that is... Is it? It does. It wants this one. You know what? That's fine. I just need to fuss with chords. I got a lot of chords. Too many chords. It wants my Afterglow. Can't blame it. The Afterglow is a pretty nice control. That means I could yoink the USB out of that, but nah. I don't want to mess up my stuff. Okay. It's really weird that it's decided my other controller is now controller 2. But, yeah, that's good. I will need to set up my buttons. Because... yeah, that should be that. That I've never had on a button before. Wipers are that. Well, no, wipers are that one. No. Yeah, wipers are that one. Left turn indicator is that. Why is that? No, stop. Why does it want multiple? Okay, ooh, why? I have not seen light modes. That's that one. And cruise is that one. Let's try that and see if things work. My GPS is set, so okay, it's just working. I can't turn it off, but I can turn on the left indicator. How do I get out of here? Oh, that way. Oh boy. So on top of all this stuff, I'm currently setting up a new phone. So, well, I say setting up. The phone's set up. I'm getting files transferred to a new phone. So, I'm just watching it. And apparently I was just getting a call from somebody I have never heard of their name before. So, they're getting ignored. I don't answer random phones. It's not how I roll. Wait, hold on. It just occurred to me. One of my buttons is messed up. Because... Keys and buttons. That should be that one. And that should be that one. I need my horn. You always need your horn. It's pitiful, but you always need it. That's how it works. I cannot see if I'm able to go. Okay, now... Okay. I'm dumb. But you all knew that already. Man, I can't help but feel these roads would be a lot less congested. Oh, I cannot. I need to be able to see lights. If there wasn't so many street lights, well, stoplights everywhere. Apparently I've received a voicemail. I don't understand why I'm getting so many random calls and stuff. My old phone did not get any of that. I'm gonna have to actually like set up a thing being like, hey, if you're calling this trying to reach somebody who ain't me, you ain't gonna find them because they don't got this number anymore. Also, I need to turn my wipers on before the game complains. I also need to get my lights on before the game complains. It does not like indicating. Game is definitely good with the music, though. Like, audio level-wise, at least. Okay, I can go. Really? Why would this not be timed to also be go? I don't understand. Like, that just feels like asking for congestion. But, I mean, so much of the road system in general just seems to be asking for roads to get congested. So, you know. Those I do have some new stuff, but honestly the thing that like is the biggest deal I have is already in my computer. It has been there for a few days of my new CPU, which is just absolutely lovely to have. So phone, I really don't care. I'm on Do Not Disturb. Why are there so many notifications for things? I do not understand. Since when does Do Not Disturb mean disturb all the time? I don't quite get that one. So I need fuel. I'm gonna pick up the job first, then I'm gonna go get fuel. Because I'll probably be going straight out anyway. What's up, nerds? I'm here for a job. Bam. I'm good. This truck is as upgraded as it gets. There might be other trucks, but this is the one I've got. Okay, that's what I'm picking up. That's what they're putting down. This wall is like really cramping my style. Yeah, if this wall wasn't here, you could just build another path right out to the road. And you wouldn't need, you know, make this complicated. I'm climbing the wall. This is why I don't have a license. Oh, that's not the... What were the buttons again? Yeah, what were the buttons again? Because it's not the button it should be. Hold... Why would it be that? It doesn't make sense. Guys, why did you change your default controls to ones that are worse? Okay, well... I need to find hold left. Oh no, I lost root advisor. Next page. No one needs that. You definitely don't need it on a button. You got a mouse and keyboard for that. I mean, to be fair, you've got a mouse and keyboard for all the controls, but, you know, at least steering makes more sense on a joystick. I am just waiting for this stream to be done and just get hit with, like, 50 million copyright claims. Because I'm just trusting that this is what it says it is for music. Like, normally I would put on a playlist by the creator DJ The S and, like, just have his stuff going, but, like, I always feel kind of bad doing that. Because, like, it's not like I've asked. I'm just doing it. Yeah, I can't see what's coming, so I'm just going to assume I'm good. I can't even see how many things along it is anymore. I'm going. There's no one there. I'm going. That's how American road laws work. You just go and things happen. And you apparently drive aggressively. That's all I know of Americans driving. Okay. I want to go completely straight, get some fuel, then come back out. This is a weird section of road. Okay, I just saw for a moment. 300 of like 500 pictures has been transferred via Bluetooth to my new phone. I've got like 600-ish pictures in other folders I need to get transferred to. This is gonna take a long time. Really makes me wish there was just a tool to transfer stuff. Be really convenient. How do people put up with phones? Like, how do you do it? Legitimately questioning. Because, like, every new phone I've gotten has usually been because my previous phone just flat out died. So, like, I've never dealt with phone transfers before. I usually just re-download everything. But, like, where I have the ability to, you know... Ooh, this is sketch. Oh, this isn't where I need to be. I need to be up there. I am stuck. What is this complex? Complex, that's what. Yeah, let's, there is a sign that says trucks. I'm gonna do this my way. This is not how you drive trucks, but... this is sure how I do it. Oh, so close. Trying not to, like, fully jackknife. Because this is an articulated trailer, so this should work. Yeah. Yeah, that worked. I could just, like, leave the trailer somewhere. I don't need to be bringing it with me. I also should have, like, thought about refueling before, but, like... I didn't. So... this is my life now. I am very tempted to get out of here in style, though. Because, like, I could just go a straight line. I don't know if that would, like, horrifically damage the trailer, though. Drink the petrol. Okay. I mean, the arrow says go straight. And who am I to deny an arrow? This is such a bad idea. Can I even get out if I were to do that? I don't think I could. I might be able to, but it'd be really sketch. So I'm still gonna get out in style, just differently. I have fallen, and I cannot get up. Can I reverse? Am I actually stuck? Oh no. Curse you, articulated trailer. Come on. You can do it, truck. What is it stuck on? I don't know. How am I stuck? Okay. Idea. Yep. Okay. Yeah. That almost worked. That almost worked. I do want to do something really quick. So I just thought of this. I want to see how my computer's performing. Holy mother of Jesus. Actually, while I am right here, let's service my truck. Let's repair everything. Yep. There we go. Yeah. Okay, hopefully I have my trailer. Yes, I have my trailer. Oh, getting out here with the trailer is going to be a nightmare. Got it. Yeah, I'm aware. This service station is not very friendly to me. No. F1? No. F2? No, that... Ooh. That's not what I want. F5. See, it all worked out. These were not designed for trucks. I also refuse to believe that little post would actually stop this truck. That post would not exist. I'm sorry. It would not be there anymore. I can't see the lights. There we go. I cannot go. I love how every year I get like a progressively bigger mug. Hello, fire truck. I'm probably gonna be needing to see you later. Oh no, I need to be over there. I'm going. Can't stop me. I'm going. I need to be in this lane. I almost feel like there's some frame limiting going on. Either that or this was a very core-hungry game. Because I actually think I'm getting worse performance now. I'm still getting solid performance. But... I suppose one major difference, my computer isn't screaming. It's actually at a pretty reasonable temperature. Whoops. Like, my CPU is at, 48 degrees, 49 degrees, so it's only about, like, 30 degrees over ambient right now. Graphics card's pretty toasty, which, you know, I know that's my bottleneck. I'd have to be pretty foolish to not realize that my graphics card is now my bottleneck. But yeah, where this is taking the place of my World of Warships video for today, I do actually want to talk about something World of Warships related. Because I don't... Okay. So there's a thing that's growing that people are complaining about. That is, oh, all these new ships that Wargaming's releasing are all the same. You know, all these new dockyard ships are just... You know, they're clones of things we already have. Or, like, they're not, like, substantially different. And so it's, you know, the whole thing of, like, oh, Wargaming's getting lazy. And I've more or less been arguing with a couple people who I wasn't even going out of my way to argue with. I was just simply pointing out that if you want to say Wargaming is lazy... because of, you know, samey ships, you kind of need to make the argument that they have always been lazy. Oh, this is a detour and a half. I need to be going this way. spiderweb roads. Because, like, even if you go to, like, premiums, there are so many that are basically just exact copies of Tech Tree ships, because the ship itself is just, it's a Tech Tree ship. Atago is a Miyoko. Texas is a New York. There's like 3 or 4 different New Mexicos. Like, skid. So, like, if you want to make the argument that, you know, Wisconsin wasn't a great dockyard because it's just in Iowa, well, then you kind of have to have an issue with all of these older premiums. Except people don't, with the argument being, well, they were historical ships. But they also want Wargaming to do different things. So they want Wargaming to do different things, but not use blueprints. How are you gonna do that? Like, sure, they could add one of the 100 more Fletchers that they could add, but what do you do to actually make it different? It's just another Fletcher. So they would have to basically give it some sort of gimmick that, you know, the other Fletchers don't have yet, which at this point would be pretty difficult, and keep it historical. And then you'd still have to pay money for it. Like, and that's if you take out of the equation that the whole discussion seems to be around dockyard ships, but some people are trying to make it about premiums in general, and it's like, I do not understand what the community wants. And one thing that, like, really got me, that, like, I'm probably going to be replying to this person later if I really feel like it, but someone saying, like, oh, well, the examples of premiums that are just a copy of a Tech Tree ship, like, in class and everything, well, those are fine because those are historical ships that people want. Who are these people? I imagine if you asked around on the EU server, almost none of them would want Texas. Where am I going? Where am I going? This way? This seems right. This is such a spider web. But I mean, like, even when it comes to that point of, like, one of the ship that seems to be sparking this controversy the most is Blücher, I believe it would be. I don't know how to actually pronounce it. The third Prinz Eugen. That's the next dockyard ship. It's going to be a Prinz Eugen, a tier higher, with a faster reload, and probably some other gimmicks. And that's what people are complaining about. They are complaining about a historical ship being added because it is basically a ship we already have. That is their problem. Like, so clearly people don't want these historical ships. They want something different. But then when Wargaming does give us something different, like Njord, which is if the Germans had actually built the Heinrich and then sold the Heinrich to Sweden without its turrets, and Sweden purchased Tirpitz's turrets to put on it. You know, that's Njord. It has better armor than Heinrich, arguably better guns, a much heavier focus on torpedoes instead of secondaries. It's pretty unique compared to the ship it's based on. Is high beam still out? Yes, it is. Okay. Don't care that doing that's like bad etiquette. I can't see. But like, it's just dumb, and I don't understand what the World of Warships community wants. I don't think they know what they want. Because they don't want historical ships that already exist, but there's very few of those left that haven't already been added. That's kind of the thing with how long World of Warships has been around. Like, there is already a ton of historical ships in game, even some that would work great for tech trees, but they're already in game, so they can't be used there, like HMCS Haida or Huron. We can't have either of those. I mean, I own both of them, but still, it would be nice to have them as a tech tree, or part of a tech tree. Like, it's just weird and silly to me of, like, how people are going about this. Especially where they don't seem to be understanding that, like, this isn't a new phenomenon. That's all I'm attempting to point out. Wargaming has been doing copy-paste ships for a very, very, very long time. Hell, just be glad this isn't like Gaijin and War Thunder, where every tech tree basically has everyone else's vehicles. Like, you know, that is taking copy-paste to a whole new level, you know. But yeah, I don't get it. I might actually swap over to World of Warships at some point. Play around a bit, probably on the series account. Though maybe my main. I was thinking of just doing nothing but like a World of Warships. How am I supposed to exist here? Did the GPS ever tell me to pull out? I wasn't paying enough attention. I really wish the road wouldn't do that. If you're supposed to keep to the right, why does the right change lanes so freaking much? I feel like I'm just going to keep center. That's the most painless way of going about this. I don't care if it's wrong. I also need to ask if anyone's actually watching that's dealt with like transferring stuff on phones. Is it normal for them to take like a really long time to transfer photos via Bluetooth? And is there a better way of doing it than just transferring via Bluetooth? Yeah, I know that's the truck lane. I don't trust that that lane's gonna stay solid, so I'm staying in the middle. Which also means I'm unintentionally veering into other lanes. It's because I'm really out of practice driving. Haven't done it for a while. I used to do this game, like stream this game quite often. Like this used to be like a game I would come to basically just be like, right, so this is just gonna be a chill hangout kind of stream, kind of state of the channel. You know, here's what's going on, here's what's going down. And I just kind of stopped doing that at some point. Thinking I also more or less just kind of stopped streaming. Like, I haven't even done 30 streams this year. That is not many. Though, I mean, 150 was a real struggle last year. But also I had, like, no motivation or encouragement. And this year, I've got only myself to motivate myself. But, like, that's probably for the best. Because, like, I have definitely discovered putting too much hope in other people to care about the things I care about has really caused my mental health to, like, degrade. So, I'm just not caring as much. Really? Really, Jeep? Really? I am not afraid to just ram into you. If you're gonna pull out in front of me and then slow down, I don't care. Oh, yeah, see, I see on the GPS. It's telling me to change lanes up there. It's telling me to pull over. So I guess the lanes have shifted. But it also looks like it's immediately telling me to pull back out. So I'm just gonna stay right in this lane. I'm just gonna stay in my lane. Moisturized, unbothered. Just in my lane. This is my lane. Yeah, see, it's telling me to pull right back out. If I was following that, I'd be like swerving all over the goddamn place. Be like I'm following a snake. This is actually the way I need to go as well. Yeah, staying in my lane was exactly what I needed to do. But, yeah, like, I do not understand. I'm also very much in the camp of really trying to figure out why the price of a premium particularly matters for the argument of samey premiums, because that's something that someone was bringing up as well. It's like, oh, well, they cost so much money. It's like, okay, but one, we're talking about this in the context of dockyard ships, and they don't cost that much money. But two, you know what you can do if there's ever something, and this applies to anything. It doesn't need to be World of Warships. It can apply to literally anything. If there is something you don't like the price of, you can just choose not to pay it. Even when it comes to, like, your rent payment, you could choose not to pay it. You're gonna get evicted, but you can just choose not to pay it. I wouldn't advise that, but, you know, any payment, you can just choose not to make. You know, no one's holding a gun to your head and telling you have to buy the latest shiny premium that World of Warships releases. In fact, a lot of CCs actively encourage you to not do that. Wargaming themselves, I believe, has even made mention before that they do not expect the player base to buy every single premium they release. Like, there will be a customer for everything. Not everyone is that customer. It's just standard business. You know, a company selling makeup isn't going to be marketing or trying to sell their product to me. I'm not going to wander around complaining about the price of makeup. I don't buy or wear it. Closest I ever get some lip balm occasionally. Like, so like, I just, you know, and if the argument is, well, some people pay for it, it's like, great, and those people wanted the product. Where is the problem? The fact people buy these things proves that people want them. You know, if people didn't want makeup, you can bet your butt it wouldn't be any. Companies just wouldn't make it because it wouldn't be worth their time. You know, same goes for, you know, computer hardware. If nobody wanted it, there wouldn't be companies making it. I mean, currently nobody wants these, but, you know, that's entirely Intel's fault. And I'm gonna need to swap around my charging cable. This new phone does not seem to hold battery very long. Or charge very fast. Ooh, my old phone is not... It was at 50 and now it's at 43. Bluetooth must just use a lot of battery, I guess. Okay. I don't have the charging for this. But yeah, I think I'll stop rambling about World of Warships now, at least as best I can. The main issue is, like, I don't really have much else to ramble about. I mean, that's something that anyone who's been watching me for a very long time knows. I'm a kind of boring person. I don't do a huge amount. So it's rare I actually have things to, like, talk about. I actually need to grab my other charger, though. Blah. I think I've got a charger, like, right here. Oof. This is why you should not do things while driving. Let that be known. This is very much a case of, like, hands-free means hands-free to talk on the phone. It does not mean find another activity for your hands. I wonder if I can plug this also into my Switch dock. My other phone charger is legitimately just plugged into my Switch dock because it works. This is a nice straightaway. It's like, I don't think I have anywhere else I could plug this in. Not easily handy. I need to turn. These roads are so conveniently straight until they're not. Okay. Yeah, that's charging. Don't know how well it's charging, but it's charging. But yeah, like, literally, I think the most interesting thing I've really done lately is play Back 4 Blood, which I gotta say, and I talked a little bit about this in my Animal Crossing videos. That, out of context, for anyone that does not know my channel, would just be like, wait, what? I mean, Eternal Horizons was a thing. I'm gonna act too shocked. But, I really gotta say, I don't understand all of the hate towards Back 4 Blood. Not only is it, at least in my opinion, so I'm just gonna go Canadian highway speeds. In my opinion, it's a lot more replayable than Left 4 Dead. Let's be honest, once you've played through Left 4 Dead 2's campaign 1 or 2 times, there's nothing left to experience. You've experienced it all. You're done. Back 4 Blood, there's the random corruption cards that can make 2 playthroughs of the same stage completely different. Like, in one run, you might be being stalked by a hag. In the next run, there might be an ogre. Like, you know, and that drastically changes how you play through the stage. And the dangers of that stage. One run, there might be no bear traps. The next time you go through, there might be bear traps everywhere. You know, you will be having different experiences. And that's on top of the zombies will probably be different too. Like, it's rather nice. But also, the game is a lot harder. Like, Left 4 Dead 2, let's be honest, the difficulty in that game is kind of a joke. Like, I don't want to crap on it too much, but like, by the time I was done playing Left 4 Dead 2, as in I'd kind of played myself out on it, I was to the point where I was playing through the highest difficulty without really any issue whatsoever. Because I kind of already knew what to expect from every stage, and you just grab your go-to weapons. Like, there's nothing to really alter your run. Which is another thing I really have to give to Back 4 Blood, because you might have a go-to weapon. Like, for myself, I really like the light machine guns. I've always liked Big Daka. Big Daka or sniper rifles. I go one way or the other. So either all the bullets or single bullets. And sniping solo doesn't really work out terribly well. Well, you might not encounter the light machine gun that you want. Just might not be a thing that happens. That weapon just may not spawn because it's all random. You might get a light machine gun you really didn't want, and maybe you're not a big fan of it. Like, maybe you don't like the clip-fed one and you want the belt-fed one, or maybe you really like the clip-fed and don't want the belt. Either way, whatever the game gives you is going to change your experience because, well, if you still want to use the LMG, you've got to use the one that they give you, whether it's the one you want or not. And then there's weapon mods, which can enhance your weapon. Or if they're a broken mod, they can weaken your weapon. So you might find an LMG that you really want of a good rarity, because there's also equipment rarities which also impact your equipment and can very much drastically change your run. You know, you might find one of a good rarity, but it's just full of just bad, broken mods. So now you've got to make a choice. Do you carry this subpar weapon until you can get to your next safe room and detach all of those mods for 500 coins? Or do you just leave it on the ground and lament that you still don't have the weapon you want? Like, those are choices that actively will impact your run, and it's really nice. Purely just down to, it makes each run feel different. Which is not really something you can say about Left 4 Dead, which is where I really don't understand all the hate towards Back 4 Blood. Like, it's a pretty neat game. Did my cruise control not actually activate? No, it had to have, because I was holding 84 there. I was just struggling up the hill. Got it. I mean, like, is it a perfect game? Nah. Is it worth its full price? No. No, it's not. Left 4 Dead 2 wouldn't be worth its old full price either. It has had so many price cuts throughout the years. That's what makes Left 4 Dead 2 a good value. Like, if you're buying Left 4 Dead 2 at like $15 or Back 4 Blood at $60, yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 is the better deal. But if you're buying Back 4 Blood for like 12, that's a really good deal. And I'm counting Back 4 Blood and its expansion stuff, its season pass, which gives you all the DLC content. Like, it honestly makes me kind of sad to see that game struggles to hold a community, because, like, well, hold a player base, because, like, it's a solid game. Like, I remembered liking it during the beta, because I was part of the beta. Like, I signed up for it, took part, attempted to stream it in my old 1650, just could not do it. I could play the game, I just could not stream it. Which was a thing that at the time, it did, like, that was a negative point for me. Was, you know, it was more demanding computer-wise than what I could handle. So I was not terribly pleased with that. In the years since, I've got a much better computer now. And you might think, given I just upgraded my CPU, that, like, my computer upgrading bug might be out of me. Nah. I mean, I only got the new CPU because I needed it. It wasn't because, like, I wanted to upgrade. In fact, I didn't want to upgrade. That was kind of the problem. And, you know, the reason why I do not trust Intel, period, anymore. Which is a shame, because, like, the new BattleBange graphics cards look pretty nice from what we've seen so far. I don't trust them, though. Quite honestly, until I have seen a few years of Intel scandal-free, I am not going to even remotely trust their products. Just simply because, like, I have no reason to trust their products. The last Intel product I bought, they tried to sweep under the rug that it was basically degrading due to a design flaw, and they didn't want to admit it, and basically were just hoping they could ride it out long enough that their next generation would be released and people would be just upgrading into that. Like, that seems to be very much what Intel was attempting to do. And that is so freaking scummy. Like, that's too much. If they had just come out and admitted there was a problem, I don't think I would have been as hard on Intel. But the fact that they knew the 13th gen CPUs were flawed before launch, launched them anyway, and then launched the 14th gen, which were basically souped up, overclocked 13th gen, that had the exact same design flaw. They knew full well what they were doing. And they just simply didn't care. Can guarantee you they care now. And they care now because, you know, their stock has plummeted. Their shareholders are unhappy. They've had to fire tens of thousands of workers. You know, Intel is not doing so hot right now. And I would never want there to only be one company. But if that one company has to be AMD, I'm not gonna be that worried. And I say this because everyone's worried that, like, oh, well, if Intel dies, AMD isn't gonna, like, progress any. Like, well, one, that's not a bad thing. And Intel will still have a market for CPUs, it just may not be desktop. They might have to focus more effort into the server space, where they have been sorely lacking. But, like, let's be completely honest. AMD has been competing with themselves for the past, like, 4 to 6 years already. Like, yeah, Intel's there and occasionally catches up, but for the most part, AMD has just been competing with itself. There's only been, like, brief little moments where Intel has actually pushed ahead of them in a meaningful way. And even then, it's usually been in a meaningful way with a downside. It's always a monkey's paw with Intel. Like, the 12th gen CPUs were better than the original 5000 series Ryzens. With, like, 2 to 3 times the power limits. Intel was having to pump, like, double, triple the power into their CPUs to match AMD's. Which meant, and also they were charging more. So not only were you basically paying more money per year on your power bill, thanks to your shiny new 12900K, but you also weren't even getting that much more performance than what you would have gotten out of a 5800X or 5950X. And if you were doing, like, something multi-core, multi-threaded, you'd probably still want the 5950X. And then not long after that came the 5800X3D, which became the best gaming CPU until the 7800X3D came out, which was the best gaming CPU until the 9800X3D came out. Like, Intel hasn't even threatened the 7800X3D yet, and here's AMD going, so how about we release a better one even though we don't need to yet? Which, like, yeah, I do get that's AMD right now. AMD in the future might become Intel from, like, what was it? Like, first, second gen Intel, you know, I series to, like, 7th. Like, there was a lot of years in there where Intel was like, right, so everyone wants a quad-core CPU with basically the same performance as last time. Like, if you bought, like, a, let's say, i7-3770, you really didn't need to buy a new CPU for a while. Honestly, with how, like, CPU tech has been. Also, why did it make me come in here? This is, like, the worst spot to have a truck. Why am I in here? Now I'm dealing with a stop sign. I should have just stayed on the other road. I didn't know. Yeah, see, they knew. But, like, Intel was very much just like, yep, we are not gonna innovate because we don't have competition. But that's Intel. Again, AMD really has not had competition for a very, very long time, and yet they are still competing with themselves. So, like, yeah, it is a bit worrying that Intel is probably on the way out, or at the very least is going to undergo some serious restructuring and not be strong competition for AMD for a very long time. But I don't see that as very different from how they already are. They're already not strong competition. That's the thing. Like, it's kind of hard to argue that Intel is strong competition right now. Of which I do know there would probably be somebody who'd be like, but my Core Ultra 265, 285, 75, whichever it is, the biggest one, the i9 equivalent. It's like, oh, but it's so good. It's like, yeah, but my 9800X3D is not only cheaper, but better. And in a lot of workloads, you're still not the best. Because, like, here's the thing that people seem to just completely neglect. If I was, say, just a video editor, that's all I did. I edited videos. I didn't make my own content. I didn't game much. I just edited videos. You know what kind of CPU I'd be rocking? A Threadripper. I wouldn't buy an Intel, you know, Core Ultra, whatever their i9 equivalent is now, or an i9 14900K or whatever. I'd buy a Threadripper, because the Threadrippers are better for production than the Intel desktop CPUs, even at the top range. They just are. They're purpose-built for that, you know, that application. They can game, they're just not very good at it. There's even some AM5-based Threadrippers now as well. They're not as good as the standalone platform ones, but hey, they're still Threadrippers. You know, if you're doing a very core-heavy workload, you want a Threadripper. Because otherwise, your only other option is to go with a server-grade CPU. Because, well, as much as Intel tried, their desktop CPUs just don't have the cores to do properly core-heavy workloads, as well as you know, a Threadripper or an actual, you know, like a server CPU. Like, that's just where everything is. Ugh, yawning. I do not have the most amount of sleep. Truck. But like, and also if I was nothing but just a pure gamer, like if all I cared about was gaming, or if that was my primary focus, was just gaming, I probably wouldn't even have the 9800X3D. I'd probably be rocking a 5700X3D. But it would still be an X3D CPU. Because they're just simply better. The only reason I wouldn't be going with the 9800 is, well, the 5700X3D is still perfectly capable. And it's a whole lot cheaper. As if I had a choice there, guys. This road is not big enough. Could I, there we go. Pretty sure this was a stop sign. I'm going. Can't stop me. Too small. Non-stop? Exactly. No stopping. But like, I still wouldn't go Intel even if I was just gaming, because you'll simply get better performance on average on AMD using an X3D CPU. Because imagine that, cache matters. Once Intel learns that, maybe their CPUs will start being worth something. I mean, I say that. My 13600 that I had like 40 megabytes of cache, which was a good amount of cache. Upgrading from a 9400F, that was a pretty huge increase in amount of cache. It's still not the basically 100 megabytes of cache that an X3D CPU will have. And for those who don't know what like cache does, the cache of your CPU, think of it as super fast RAM. And what your computer's RAM does is it basically stores things that you need. So like right now, the cache of the CPU and the RAM that's being used by the computer is for storing everything about American Truck Sim, as well as OBS, Firefox, everything I've got running. Those are in the RAM and the cache. It's the same as your video RAM, your video memory, and your graphics card. That is storing all of the basically texture data for whatever game you're playing. The cache on your CPU is storing the instructions for the graphics card on how to place all of that texture data it has held. So if there isn't enough room in your cache to store all of the data that the CPU needs for whatever game you're playing, well, now it has to go to your RAM, and your RAM is almost certainly slower than the cache on your CPU, because the cache on your CPU is literally on your CPU. Which is what makes it so fast. It is directly on the CPU itself. There is no latency there. It is direct, basically direct to memory transferring of data. Little ones and zeros. Which is also still just completely wild to think about. It's kind of off topic, but like everything you're seeing from like my gameplay to like the bars on your screen and everything you are seeing on a digital device is just a bunch of ones and zeros. Like, that's wild. At least I think so. But yeah, I do have plans over the next couple years to continue upgrading my computer. It'll never stop. I mean, the CPU, that's basically done for a very, very long time. I have no reason to upgrade off of the 9800X 3D for the very long foreseeable future. It's not like it's going to suddenly get worse at rendering videos. It's already amazing at it. And its gaming performance is almost certainly going to hold up for the next 4+ years. Probably 6 or 7 years, though, I'm honest. Like... Oh, I can speed up. Didn't even notice. But like, yeah, I do definitely plan on upgrading my graphics card. The main issue is just finding one that'll fit in my case, because my case isn't exactly the longest. It's pretty tall, but it's not very long. Like, I think it's like 315 millimeters is the maximum I've got for GPU size. Man, why did I decide to put on like calming Christmas music on top of like playing this game that makes me tired after only being able to sleep for like 3 hours? This was not a smart move. Thankfully, I have already recorded and edited today, so literally did that before I started streaming. So I thunked ahead. But yeah, I'm honestly waiting to see what the AMD 8000 series graphics cards have to offer. Because, like, as far as performance increase goes, the 7000 series really did not offer enough for me to be all that interested, outside of, like, the 7900 GRE. Though at that point, given how prices have shifted up here in Canada, if I were to get any of the 7900s, it would probably be the standard XT. So I think even the XTX has come down in price a fair bit. But like, if rumors are to be believed, the 8000 series will basically have 7900 performance with lower prices. So I'd be happy with that. It's also very much a case of I can understand why AMD just does not care about the high-end market anymore. Like, if you see the number of 4090s that have sold, yeah, Nvidia probably made a pretty penny off of that. But they only sold, like, maybe 8,000 of them. Total. Compare that to, like, they probably have sold more, like, they probably sold more 4060s in like a quarter than they've sold 4090s, period. Which is very much why I'm kind of excited by the prospect of AMD going, yeah, we don't want to deal with the high-end market. We just want to corner the low end. Like, we want to corner the budget market. Because, let's be real, if AMD could come along and let's say the 8700 XT has like 7900 XTX performance for like $300 to $400. Suddenly, that is probably one of the best values graphics cards, just flat out. And that doesn't sound that unreasonable to me, at least. I mean, I am going US dollars. I'm not talking Canadian dollars. If I was talking Canadian dollars, yeah, that would be completely unrealistic. That would be like $250 US. That would be completely unrealistic. But like, at like $700-800 Canadian, I could see it. That would be a few years of saving, but the prices are definitely going to shift around, and, you know, the used market's always a thing. I say, having never actually bought something off the used market. Wait, is all those file transfers finally done? I'm gonna have to set that up to transfer more files. I'm gonna pause, even though we are waiting here. Jesus. In the menu here, I'm rocking like 700, 800 FPS. Okay, let's go. Yeah, I want these, definitely. Share all, share. Bluetooth. Bluetooth. That one. Accept. This is... I feel like such an old man doing this, because there's probably better ways to do it, but like... Man, I don't know. Do I look like a youngin' that knows how technology works? I'm starting to gray. Like, come on now. It's actually not gray, it just looks gray. It's blonde. I'm blonding. I don't know how to feel about that. I'm turning blonde. I was a blonde when I was younger. I think I'm just going back to being blonde. I don't like it. I don't want to be a blonde. I'm too smart for that. I'm sorry, that's a bad joke. Bad joke's bad. But to be fair, there is a connection between being golden and being not very bright. Like orange cats, pretty dumb. Goldens, when it comes to dogs, pretty dumb. There seems to very much just be a connection there. I mean, I get orange cats are gingers, but still, like, it's close. But yeah, it's definitely a bit of a wild time in the tech space, just knowing that, like, Intel is, like, dying. Intel couldn't afford the mistake they made when they made it. Like, but they made it, and then they refused to acknowledge it, which might have saved them. Like, I can't speak for anybody else, but I know for myself, if Intel had just come out and went, yeah, we messed up. You know, there's a design defect. We've been trying to fix it under the hood for, you know, since these released with BIOS updates and microcode revisions. You know, here we've got another one in the works that might fix things. We're fairly confident it's going to this time. You know, if you're unhappy with this, you know, submit an RMA request or a return request. We'll give you, you know, a portion of your money back at least if you want it, or just a new CPU. You know, we'll do exchanges if you want to just trade your 13th or 14th gen in for a 12th gen. We'll do that. That would let them clear out old stock without even costing them much money at all. And like, if they had done that, if they had offered like, hey, if you've got a 13600 or higher CPU, you can send your CPU to us and we'll just give you a 12900K, no fuss, we'll just swap them out. I would have been praising Intel, because that admittedly would have been a bit of a gaming performance downgrade for me, level upgrade. For anyone on a 13 or 14.9, that would have been a downgrade, but at least that would have been Intel going, right, we messed up, here is our best, safest solution to make it right. But they didn't. They just doubled down. Tried to claim there wasn't a problem. Tried to claim that the problem was the users or the motherboard manufacturers, until it finally just reached a point where they just could not blame other people anymore and had to finally go, all right, it's a design defect. Like, and this was after, like, the CPUs have been out in the wild for like 2 years. They finally admitted that, yeah, there's a design defect that's literally causing these CPUs to burn themselves out because we're putting too much power through them. That's ignoring that the Intel recommended guidance for like their power profiles is an absolute joke. Like, there really isn't a default power profile for any of the 13th or 14th gen CPUs, because default, the basic power, is not the default. Make sense of that one. Man, I've been rambling about this for like almost an hour. I get very passionate about things. It's kind of a thing of it's wild to be in my own head, because like, in a lot of ways I get like super passionate about stuff, and like I love things, and the things I love to like the fullest. But I'm also like depressed. Like, there'll just be times where I just cannot manage enthusiasm, even though I really want to. So like, it's very much a case of I'm very much like just a depressed Gomez Addams. Like, I very passionately love a lot of things, but like depression. So like, Things come and go. There's waves. Okay, I need to pull over so I can get into the off-ramp. Yeah, I'm almost at my destination. I can take another job. Again, I really don't know how long this stream's gonna be going for. And, like, I would apologize that, like, I'm not doing my regular, like, warships content, but who am I kidding? No one really watches that anyway. I mean, there's a few people that watch it, but it's very, very, very few. Which, I mean, is something that my brain didn't click on until, like, I was basically trying to point out to somebody of how, like, a lot of the players of World of Warships do not watch World of Warships content. Like, they just don't. And there's a pretty easy way to tell this. In general, if you want to deduce the population of an MMO, you look at the peak hours, double it. How many people are playing at peak hours, double it, that's roughly the amount of daily average players you've got. It's not an exact science, but it gives you a number to go off of. Oh, I can't. And for World of Warships, that's very easily in the range of almost like 150,000 people worldwide. The biggest community contributors don't get that many views. They get maybe half of that. Which is very much a case of, that's why I will continue to say until I am blue in the face, that the people that don't like carriers and submarines are a vocal minority. Because quite simply, there's more people who don't watch content about World of Warships than there are the people who complain about carriers and submarines. And usually, when somebody has an issue with something, they tend to, like, look it up, engage with content that might explain that thing. I mean, it doesn't help that I also spend a lot of time in the help chat, and in general, yeah, you'll find some people who are like, yeah, carriers suck, but then you'll see just as many more, you'll see probably double that number of people being like, maybe you just suck. You know. Oh man, empty bottles. $96,000 to carry empty bottles. That is a long-ass drive. Well, I know what I'm doing. I'm doing this one. This is gonna be hours. Oh, that's gonna... What am I getting myself into? Ooh. Almost hitting a trailer, that's what. I mean, like, when you can hang out in, like, the help chat for hours at a time and see a bunch of different people all have basically the same reaction to aircraft carriers of, yeah, they're not bad, they're a bit annoying, but they're not, like, overpowered. And then you get, like, one guy coming in basically go, I don't know what you guys are all talking about, they're absolutely busted, they're broken, and it's like, okay, so that's now one vote for they're broken, and like 15 that they're not. Got it. And you see more people in the help chat. You know, different names, different people of all kinds of opinions and backgrounds than you do watching a community contributor on YouTube. Because, well, echo chambers exist. And if you don't fit in with whatever echo chamber, you know, that creator has established, you're not gonna have a great time in their community. And, like, this is nothing to, like, crap on these creators either. Like, their echo chamber is built from their opinions. Like, I don't want to say their opinions are invalid in any way, but, like, it does tend to result in echo chambers getting built. You know, I could right turn around, right turn again, and be on my way already. I mean, like, I hope that I won't end up creating a community like that, but at the same time, I also know it's almost inevitable that, you know, a lot of y'all that watch my stuff will share opinions with me. If you didn't, you probably wouldn't like who I am as a person, and you probably wouldn't want to watch my content. Which is very much something that's always annoyed me. Because, like, there's a reason, even though I disagree with a lot of what they say, I watch the World of Warships community contributors and just content creators like Potato Quality and the Mighty Jingles and Sea Lord Mountbatten. And it's just simply because their differing opinions make me think about my own. The fact I don't agree with them is a good thing. You should always strive to have somebody you watch that you don't agree with. And, like, I don't mean to, like, watch them in a way of, like, you know, watching them to mock them or something. Like, just be someone you don't agree with that, you know, challenges your beliefs, but in a way you can respect. I say that knowing full well I don't exactly respect a lot of the content creators I watch about World of Warships. I just watch them because their opinions are very different from mine, and I don't like the others even more. So, you know, I'm not a great example, but do as I say, not as I do. There's my empty bottles. That's such a long way. Doing it. I'm looking at the ceiling. Give me them empty bottles. Want to hear them jingle, jangle, jingle. Yeah, I can straighten this out more. I think I'm making it worse. Yeah, no, I got it. Bam. Close enough. Man, this should be an easy job, too. Because these aren't really all that heavy. And this is like a truck built for carrying heavy stuff. Which, from what I understand, apparently makes it worse at lighter stuff for some reason. I don't get it. One would think a powerful engine would be better for everything, but apparently it's not, but still. Woo. That was close. Man, now my brain's like, alright, big man, what are we gonna ramble about now? And it's like, I don't know, brain. What are we gonna ramble about now? You're the boss here. It's like, heck no, I'm not. I will say, I am very much looking forward to laying down. Not looking forward to cleaning off my bed so I can lay down, but I am very much looking forward to laying down. I am quite tired. I had intended to, like, nap for, like, I laid down around 2 in the morning with the intention of getting up around 8. So I'd nap for, like, 6 hours, basically sleep. And that'd be great. I'd be set for the entire day. It'd be amazing. I laid down at 2. I was awake by 4:30. Because my body hates me so much. Oh boy, I'm probably gonna have to wait station. Yep. Please pull into the nearest wait station. Yeah. Totally carrying drugs in these bottles. I could understand it if these were, like, near bridges or something, and it was, like, checking if you were too heavy to cross the bridge. But, like, they're not. Which really has me thinking that that's not what these are for. They're literally just probably checking for drugs. Making sure you're not trying to smuggle drugs in your empty bottles. I mean, maybe that's why I'm taking these to somewhere for, so they can be filled up with probably alcohol. This is such a long trip. I am glad I have the in-game fatigue system turned off, because, like, this would be a, like, probably 3 sleep trip. Like, I get fatigued off. Ugh. I don't need the game also having the guy yawn. Just the truck sounds make me tired, so, you know. Now I'm really struggling to think of, like, things to ramble about. I got probably like 2.5 hours ahead of me. Yeah, it's probably closer to like 2 hours. Might be less, but... Long drive, that's all I know. Whoop. I am really trying to like think of like something else I can ramble about. I'm almost rambled out. This isn't normal. Because like there's definitely things I do kind of want to talk about, but I feel like I should really save those for like my New Year's stream that I plan on doing. Because like I more just want to like reflect on this year. Because like it has been a year, and almost certainly the worst one of my life so far. Trust me, I do know they can be worse. And there will be worse years. I know that. But like, this is definitely the worst one so far. Which is where I'm really glad that like I have this outlet. So I honestly don't know what I would do or where I would be if I didn't. Should have pulled out sooner. The arrow said pull out. Because, like, just as a brief recap for anyone who may not know, early this year in March, my girlfriend of 7 years just suddenly broke up with me, completely just cut me off from any of the friends that basically she had forced me to make, and left me basically just completely alone. And I still don't know why. I'll never know. I'll never have that closure, and that's going to really suck. But like that kind of ruined the entire year. And it's actually kind of funny looking at my like Steam recap for the year and seeing like in March I go from like almost just not playing games in general. Before March, like I played like maybe 3-4 different games. I did like there was a fair few hours there, but like most of my time back then was being spent like just, you know, playing things that weren't on Steam. To then suddenly, I think I played like 30-40 different games, all of which just trying to find something to distract myself with. It didn't really work, but I was trying. But yeah, this has definitely not been a fun year. But hey, it's almost over. There's always next year. And it's very much a thing of... Initially, I was definitely very down, but even then, like, when everything happened, I basically just started attempting to live a Uncle Iroh quote from Avatar: The Last Airbender. In your darkest time, hope is something you give yourself. And yeah, that's basically how I've gone about this year. Just giving myself as much hope as I can. Taking things a day at a time, sometimes minutes at a time. And it's definitely not been easy, especially this time of year, because, like, normally this time of year I would have been, like, obsessing over finding the perfect gift for my now ex. Like, I would have been obsessing over it, trying to find the absolute perfect game for her. And, you know, one-up myself from the year previous where, you know, I had done the same thing. I'd be looking for months to find, like, the perfect game. And, like, I just don't have that this year. And this didn't have it. January is also going to be hard because, like, that was another thing of, like, my obsessing over, like, the perfect game, you know, for Christmas would then be followed by, on January 21st, okay, now what's the perfect thing I can do on that day, because that was our anniversary. Which, like, looking back, and I imagine I'm going to talk about all this stuff again on New Year's, but, like, looking back, man, I was an idiot. Like, because here was me doing all this obsessing and just, like, the best way I can describe it is basically just being Gomez Addams, being madly in love. To the point where I didn't really click that, yeah, there was basically no effort coming the other way. Even though I wasn't even the one to initiate the relationship. Which really does not feel good. Like, I shouldn't be talking about sad things on Christmas. And I have almost nothing else to talk about at this point. Gotta slow down. I think I need this lane. Maybe. I don't need that one. I need this. I need to pull out here, apparently. Turn off. There we go. But yeah, it definitely reminded me of a, like, just reflecting on that relationship, very much reminded me of a BoJack Horseman quote that I can actually remember. It's from BoJack Horseman that I actually gave to other people while I was with my ex. Of, you know, when you're wearing rose-tinted glasses, red flags just look like flags. Well, I was sure wearing those rose-tinted glasses. But I'm free from that now. I have that as more things to reflect upon. You know, watch out for if I ever start dating again, which I might not, to be honest. I'm getting too old. I know I'm not, but I feel like I'm getting too old. Like, that's where I'm at. But yeah, I need to think of something more entertaining to ramble about. Okay, that transfer's still going. I really cannot think of anything. Oh yeah, I suppose there's one thing I can kind of ramble about, though it's something that I haven't heard any news on in quite a while. Still really excited for the new Pokemon Legends game. Like, we're finally getting Pokemon Z. Like, it's ZA, but still it's Z. We're finally getting it. They did X and Y, now we're getting Z. Which, like, I almost feel like I'm one of the only people that liked Pokemon X and Y. Now, admittedly, I might be a bit biased, because that generation did add, like, one of my favorite Pokemon the moment I discovered it. That being Vivillon. I love that thing. There's a red light here. Why is there a red light here? Sir, I cannot see that light. You are going to have to be my indicator. Well, I can just third person it. Why is there a... America! The crap is this? Other than a safety hazard. Okay. But, like, I actually kind of liked the story. I mean, Team Flare was a bit silly. But, like, I feel like people are looking back at, like, old Team Rocket and imagining them as a lot worse than they actually were. They were bumbling doofs who didn't really have much of a plan other than get rich. Like, really, the only Pokemon villain that was in any way, like, intimidating was Gestus. And that's only because he would smack a child. Like, he has no chill. You beat him in a Pokemon battle, he's gonna pull a knife out, kind of thing. Like, he has no chill. And is completely insane. Every other villain is kind of tame in comparison. Though the more recent ones have actually been quite the world threats. Like Lusamine trying to unleash Ultra Beasts upon the world everywhere to utterly destroy everything because her husband went missing and is actually just off on an island growing beans, as you do. Then you get, I mean, even Team Flare were going to destroy the world. They were basically gonna press a big reset button that would have just destroyed everything. They were basically gonna Gek the Pokemon world. Anyone who's not played Fallout has no idea what the GECK is. Basically, it's a device in Fallout that is basically a big button you press on this machine that just resets nature. It's a video game. It doesn't have to make sense. In doing this, it does basically eradicate all the life that was there. So, you know, you're having a bad day if you press the GECK. But everyone who comes after, they're having a pretty good time. But, like, then you get the professor from Scarlet and Violet. Like, they basically were going to end the world. The chairman from Sword and Shield was basically summoning Eternatus to destroy the world. Like, compare that to, like, Team Rocket. They wanted to steal some Slowpokes so they could cut off their tails and sell them for profit. They also want to sell Magikarps and rare fossils. That's Team Rocket. They want to steal and sell Pokemon. Like, they're not really a big threat. They're not scary. They're not, I mean, they're barely more than common thugs. You know, like, Team Aqua and Team Magma are scarier than Team Rocket. At the very least, they're trying to unleash legendaries that could completely alter the world. Closest Team Rocket ever got to that was playing a part in the creation of Mew, well, Mewtwo, from the genes of Mew. Which, I mean, like, sure, Mewtwo's powerful, but, like, Mewtwo's not, like, world-alteringly powerful. As much as the games always like to try to portray Mewtwo that way, it's kind of not. All its Pokedex entries, all its appearances in the anime and movies, like, Mewtwo is not world-alteringly powerful. It's not to the level of Kyogre that could quite literally submerge the planet. Or Groudon that could cause all of the water on the planet to evaporate. Or Yveltal that could probably sneeze and blow up a small country. Like... Yawning. But yeah, I am very excited for Pokemon ZA. Depending on when and how I can get it, I'll probably actually see about like day one streaming it or doing something with it. So that file transfer is done, so hold on a moment. Got to set up another one. I want this, share. This one will probably go a lot faster because there's only like 37 things in here. Bluetooth. That one. Accept. God, I'm such a grandpa when it comes to this stuff. Oh, I don't want to be there. I need to be. I don't know these roads, and you're supposed to keep right, except to pass. You know, that is very much a concept that I just did not understand for the longest time, was the whole keep right except to pass. Wow, is it already done? Hold on. Oh no. Oh man, now there's more choice over the ads you'll see. Yeah, I don't care. I don't want to see them. That's the thing. Which, you know, I actually got reminded of something. And it's because, like, I used to mess around with Mistplay, and my mother does. She likes messing around with Mistplay from time to time. You know, it's pretty neat. For those who don't know what Mistplay is, it's basically one of those Android apps that, like, you play games that are sponsored through Mistplay, and for watching ads while playing those games, you earn a bit of money that you can then, well, a bit of currency that you can then turn into, like, gift cards. It's neat. I like that concept. And quite honestly, if I got money for watching advertisements, I wouldn't have an ad blocker installed. Yeah, who am I kidding? I'd still have an ad blocker installed. But, you know, yeah, I think this transfer's already done. Yes. Okay. Now for 515 more things. Wait, can I not? It's not letting me... Oh no. Why is it not letting me do this? Is there too many things? Is that the problem? What is the limit for number of things I can share over Bluetooth? So I know I did like 400 before, so let's... Oh, keeping track of this is going to be so difficult. I do apologize, but like I need to get this done, so... Okay, let's try that. Okay. So I can do 404 things. Accept. So I should probably... I have messages waiting for me. I should actually see what they're like. Okay. Discord messages. Okay. Gotta get back to this. Get this back up. Get this over here. There we go. And I'm driving again. Gods, I am not looking forward to moving over all my two-factor stuff. Of which you might be like, well, why didn't you just move your SIM card over? Well, see, the phone that I got, that my sister set up, has a phone number. It's on a phone plan. It, you know, it's being paid for whether I use it or not. My phone, I can just stop paying. It's just a prepaid. I could just choose to stop. There's no problem with me just choosing to stop. So I may as well save the $23 a month, which will work out to a good chunk of money being saved. So sadly, it will mean we'll be earning a few less President's Choice points because it's a prepaid card through frickin' the Loblaws, you know. I'm basically, through it, I was earning us like $2 a month off of my $20 phone bill. $23 technically, but to them it was $20 and then the tax made it $23. I mean, it's not a bad amount of money to pay for, you know, what I had, which was basically North America-wide free call text. You know, doesn't feel too bad to be paying $20 for that. No data at all, none. That wasn't available unless you wanted to pay $30. And you'd only get 1 gig of data, so I was like, nah. I say, while I was working, I was paying for like a $50-some package that gave me like 7 gigs of data with like worldwide free calling and texting, and like it was pretty nice, but that was like $50-some, so. Hello, Morgan. Thank you for popping by. I say hello back. I hope you're having a good day. The stream is going pretty well. I mean, my voice is killing me, but it's just what happens when I've almost been talking near constantly for like 2 hours. It's great. Really, the only hiccups have been me stopping to fuss with my new phone to keep files transferring to it. Slow down. Oh, jeez. I need to slow down more. I need to slow down more. I'm I'm entering a city. Mobe. And can you imagine living in a place named Mobe? Kind of weird. Though I can't say much. There's a place in Nova Scotia here named Dildo. So, I mean, it'd be even weirder to live there. Man, it's been a long time since I heard a lot of these, like, instrumental melody things, because, like, they'd always be, like, what we performed for, like, elementary, like, Christmas concerts, which I always hated. And, like, I know there was definitely people I went to school with that did not understand why I hated them so much. But it's basically a case of, if you're one of those people that like, oh man, the Christmas concert was so fun. It's like, yeah, think of it this way. You probably had family coming to see you perform. So basically every year's Christmas concert was like a little family get-together. Truck, can you go? The light is green, my man. You don't have an indicator on. My man, my main man. But, like, I didn't. I had immediate family. You know, siblings, parents. That was it. So, like, I had nothing to really look forward to about those except them ending so that I could, you know, go back to spending my afternoon how I wanted to spend it. Which was also an annoying thing because, like, the way I looked at it and still look at it is the Christmas concert should really happen at immediately when the day of school ends, if not a little beforehand. Like, there's no reason it should eat an entire evening of a kid's life. Especially where most of them don't even want to do it. And not because, like, they you know, have just nothing to look forward to, like I did. But, like, just simply because they just don't want to be doing it. They'd rather be doing something else. Like, I've never asked him, but I can pretty much guarantee one of the friends I still talk to from, you know, my time at school would probably say, yeah, he'd rather have just been home playing video games. Because, well, that's just how both of us were. So, like, that was another thing with me of, like, I would have rather just been home playing video games. They were more entertaining than the Christmas concert. That not only would it be annoying because we'd know it'd be coming, we'd have to do multiple rehearsals. It was never fun. Like, the most fun part of it was generally just getting to joke around with my buddies during school time that we were, you know, normally we'd be in class for. Like, that was the fun part. It wasn't, you know, nothing else about it was fun in the slightest. It actually kind of made me hate these melodies for the longest time because, like, anytime I'd hear them, Christmas concerts. But I've gotten to the point where it's like, I don't hate them. Can't say I like them, but that's just because I've heard them so much. I don't hate them. They're not bad. Man, this is a long trip. Though I am about a third through it. So I think this will only be about a total of like an hour and a half long trip. In reality, it would have been a multiple day long trip, but thankfully this game is not one-to-one scaled to the US. That would be too much. That would simply just be too much. Man, I should not be feeling hungry right now. I ate a pretty big breakfast. Oh, I'm gonna have to wait for this light, aren't I? Yeah. If I sped up, I probably could have made it, but... Well, I say I had a... No, it was a pretty big breakfast. I mean, it was a bunch of leftovers from, like, last night's supper, so, like... It was quite a bit. It's turkey, stuffing. That was all I had. Meat and bread. And seasoning. The seasoning was my veg. Yes. And you want? Your indicator's the wrong side. I think it's because he had his hazards on, because he almost crashed into me. Man. My brain's now just thinking of random anecdotes from my time at school. But, like, none of them are particularly interesting or things I haven't told a bunch of times already. My brain really gets stuck on a few things. I am still very much trying to think through everywhere I've got two-factor authentication to my old phone. Because, like, if I don't have to pay for it, I really don't want to continue paying for it. Like, I know my Twitch. Pretty sure my bank. YouTube I've got through another... It's not through my phone. So... Because when I set it up for YouTube, I didn't have a phone. So it's not through my phone. It's through another two-factor authenticator. Where else have I used it? I think that's really about it. Okay, that might not be so difficult then. Depending on how difficult those places make it to change your two-factor. Gods, I hope I don't have to go right into the bank to change it on my bank account. That would suck. Which, like, when I did make mention of that to my mother, she was like, I did not think of that. It's like, yeah, it's not a problem. I can probably sort it out. But, like... It's one of those things of, like... I get it would have ruined the surprise, but I kinda already had a pretty good feeling that, you know, new phones were in the works because she was having me help pick them. So, like, if I'd have known, I could have just, like, been like, hey, maybe if I send my phone along, could they just, like, do stuff? Yeah, I can pull in. Hello, Sean. Merry Christmas to you as well. Where is the wait station? Oh, it's this annoying one. Okay. I remember this one. This is the one that makes me change my course. I hope you do as well. And thank you. So far it's been pretty good, so. It still feels pretty empty, but that's just to be expected. But it's not been bad. Hey, little cars, where are you going? You don't gotta come into the wait station. God, can you imagine if regular cars had to pull into these wait stations too? That would be a nightmare. People would not deal with that. Fighting with my blinkers and I just don't turn. I wonder, could I get out of here in style? I think I could. I don't see a guardrail up there. Yep. This is how you do it, right? Oh, don't tell me I'm stuck again. Come on. No. Come on. Truck, please. You're not stuck on anything. The wheels are on the ground. Aww. I am moving slightly. Yeah, I'm aware. My truck should be moving. But for some reason, it is not. This thing has, like, all the torque in the world. This never used to happen. I know I used to be able to get out of places like this doing this. No problem. Come on. Come on. You got this truck. Okay, no, I need to keep turning right. I'm making progress. Come on. Come on. You got this truck. Literally all of the wheels are on the ground. I don't understand. No, now I'm just sliding. Okay. Okay. Rude. I'm almost certain that that's something the developers just did to be jerks. There's no fun. No fun allowed, I guess. Wait, stop. Oh, this is an intersection. It's like, I am positive I used to be able to drive up things like that. Especially with having a nice, like, good, like a nice bit of speed beforehand. I suppose I wasn't going the fastest, but like still, I've off-roaded in these before. Risk, why are you knocking things down? Yeah, just because you can. You know, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do that thing. Just gonna scoot on by here. I have no idea where I am right now. Along my trail, my travels. I do really wish this truck had an indicator of when cruise control was on. An indication that this truck probably does not actually have cruise control in real life. Though, I suppose, in real life it would be not just a button you press that immediately depresses and you have no idea if it's actually still on or not. It would be probably a switch you flip? I don't know how this stuff works. Do I look like a car guy? I say I'm watching a few car channels, but like I more watch them because the people that do them are entertaining, not because I'm actually interested in cars. Like I'm really not all that interested in cars. Really, the most interest I have in cars is electric cars. And that's more just from the standpoint of, I want something to get around in. But, like, I don't want to have to learn a bunch of stuff. Because, like, I'm sure there's, like, a lot of you out there that'd be like, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, for one, I don't know how to pump gas. I've never done it. I don't really want to learn how to do it either. And I know what you might be thinking there, of we'll just get someone in your family to show you. None of us drive! None of us know. Well, my mother probably does, but like, she's the only real exception there. And that's a maybe. Like, I've got aunts and uncles I could probably ask. But at that point, I just feel like I'm bothering them for something that I feel like is something that people should just know. Or maybe, you know, some instructions should just exist. Really? Whoops. Not mean to turn my truck off. Hey! Trucky boy. Why are you just stopped there? You're really, like, gumming everything up. You're supposed to pull over if you're getting a call. Oh, the little car bumped into him. Well, that explains that. Kind of. Yep, going too fast. And now I'm not going fast enough. Faster. Man, these transfers are taking absolutely forever. For reference, for anyone that does not know what I'm on about, before I even started streaming, like about half an hour to an hour before I started, I began transferring pictures off of my old phone onto my new phone. There's about 1,000 pictures total. I've been streaming for 2.5 hours. This has taken a very long time. Little car, please. The hiccups. Because I probably have a really long time ahead of me still. I'm going to... That's not the button. I'll just block the reduced speed ahead sign. It's gonna pull over here. How do I have that cord? Like that. Okay. I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna leave the game like this, because I may as well. So... I shall be back. I need coffee and the washroom. I am back. Yeah, I did not realize that changing scenes was going to change the cameras on me. But okay. Stopped at the side of the road to take a leak. Parked myself some coffee in my pretty sweet truck. Got a bed in it. Let's carry on. But yeah, I do think probably at the end of this delivery, I will probably be ending the stream, because I am getting pretty tired. I just hope that by then, the rest of my files are done transferring, and I can download the other things I use frequently, and then deal with the rest of the phone stuff when I wake up. I gotta say though, especially like the experience of a brand new phone, I really miss the days when they actually gave you like a charging brick and cord. Like, I do understand that, like, sure, someone who buys a new phone every year or every couple years, you know, you probably have a lot of charging cables and charging bricks laying around, and you probably throw a lot of them out. But I really have to question how many people actually upgrade their phone every year or every other year. Like, really feels like this was just something that the various phone manufacturers were just using as an excuse to make you have to buy more things from them. Because, like, you know, let's look at Apple, which was one of the first companies to, you know, that they will no longer give you headphones or a headphone jack, but headphones with your new phone. You don't get a charging brick, you don't get a charging cable, you gotta supply all those yourself, and they will happily sell them to you in packaging that has a lot more plastic to it than if they had just given you the things and you threw them all away. Like, just doesn't make sense, man. What they say they're doing is not what they're doing, very obviously. Like, I am kind of curious to see how Azure Lane's going to handle this phone, because I have no idea how it even compares with the one I had. Well, I say had, I still have the other one. Because, like, I don't know phone tech at all. Like, if you think computer hardware is confusing, you don't want to even bother looking at phone stuff. I know computer hardware pretty well. Phone CPUs? Nah. Really, like, the only thing I've got to go on is, like, Passmark has a section for, like, phone CPUs, so you can kind of compare them. But even then, like, there's so much more about the spec of a phone that could impact that rating that, like, you know, it's kind of the same with a computer, except with computers, it's a lot harder for people to unintentionally fudge the numbers. Like, you could buy an RTX 4090 and then pair it with, like, a dual-core CPU from, like, 2000. And it's gonna look like that 4090 is absolute crap because nothing's playing good on it. Because the CPU's holding it back. You could, by that equal measure, buy a 4090 and a 9800 X3D, pop those bad boys into that computer you've had since the 2000s, early 2000s, and everything's running like crap. Because you've got like 256 megabytes of RAM. Like, you know. I know that isn't exactly something you could actually do, but you get the idea. I am so tempted to just off-road this. But the game clearly doesn't want me to. The game doesn't want me to have any fun. Thing is, like, most of the time, off-roading it gives me more room for actually making these turns. But, like, with, like, a phone, you could have, like, whatever the top-end mobile phone CPU is in a phone with, like, as mentioned, like, something like 256 megabytes of RAM, and it's not gonna matter. Like, that phone is going to suffer, because that's not enough memory for anything these days. Like, it's one of the reasons why I'm really glad that, like, as time has gone on, like, if you were to try to build, like, a computer these days, and let's say you're building into AM5, got yourself a 7600X or non-X, and you're buying your motherboard and your RAM to go with it. Well, if you're doing that, you're basically almost guaranteed to be buying 32 gigabytes of RAM. Because those are just simply the cheapest kits. They are the budget kits to get 32 gigabytes of RAM, which is more than enough for modern existence. Now, something like Firefox will eat through that RAM like it's candy. But that's because Firefox is just bad at managing memory, and once it starts gobbling it up, it doesn't like letting it go. I mean, your mileage may also vary depending on if you're running an ad blocker or not, which I am, which tends to cause the RAM usage to balloon because it's keeping track of everything instead of just blocking the ads and moving on. Because I totally want to know how many ads it's blocked. Like, I don't care. I just want the ads blocked. It's quite literally all I care about. I also don't want to know or care about how many tracking cookies it's blocked or whatever. It's like, I don't care. I could not care less. Like, I just want it to function when I want it to function. Wait, I'm not seeing the file transfers happening anymore. Hold up. There is no way you're done. There is no way that's done. That happened so fast. I guess... Okay, I guess I'm doing the next set. Share. These ones I have to retap manually because it's like a small handful of images. I mean, a lot of these I could probably have gone without, but I just want them. Fair few of them are just memes or cute images that I found over time, or things I like using as backgrounds, so... I do apologize for this, but like... New phone. And again, like, I'm not even used to doing this, because, like, usually I only get a new phone when my old one dies, so... To the point where this phone I'm using now is the second phone I've ever owned. So I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's that one, then this one. So yeah, this will be my third phone I've ever owned. Which I gotta say is like, I know there's a bunch of people who would disagree with me on this sentiment. But I personally don't think it's a bad thing that kids these days are understanding how mobile devices work. I say this as somebody who grew up during the beginning of the cell phone boom. Like, I was in high school when everybody had a cell phone, basically. I was the one kid who didn't, basically. There was probably a few others that didn't as well, but I didn't ever hear of them, you know. Basically, everyone else had a cell phone. I didn't. Leading to, I didn't get my first cell phone. No, wait, no. I had I have four, because I had a flip phone. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was like, basically, I think it was 18. And it was getting, like, my first job that wasn't one working, you know, that was basically gotten for me by somebody else, and I actually needed my own phone number. So I got a flip phone, because I didn't know how a smartphone worked. I didn't want to have to learn how to deal with a smartphone. And then my manager, I should put manager in quotes, because I was working under the table as a cleaner, would never want to call. They'd always want to text. And I'm on a flip phone. Texting took forever. Like, my first experience with a smartphone was in, like, was when I was like 20, 21. And even now, anytime I'm handling one, I'm still worried I'm gonna press a button somewhere and do something. Like, because I'm just not familiar with them. I'm not comfortable with them. If something goes wrong on my phone, I have no idea how to fix it. I just have to hope that I can Google it or search it to such a degree that DuckDuckGo can tell me what's wrong and how to fix it. Like, that is my only hope. Meanwhile, like, there's probably elementary school kids these days that could... There's elementary school kids that could probably have transferred all of my files to my new phone a whole lot easier with, you know, knowing exactly how to do it. Because they're comfortable with... They're comfortable with mobile devices. Which is a good thing, because the world is moving towards mobile devices being a requirement. At my last job, I was constantly being harassed to get my own cell phone. Not a home phone line, cell phone. I technically had one, I just didn't have a SIM card, and then I eventually bought a SIM card, but I didn't tell them about it because I didn't want to deal with them constantly messaging me about crap. Everything basically had to go through a filter of my older sister, so I'm sure a lot of things they wanted to say to me they didn't because they didn't want it going through her. You know, they wanted that, you know, they didn't want to take their chances kind of thing. Which was great. But like, I would love to have not been, you know, I'd love to be not as tech illiterate when it comes to cell phones and tablets and mobile devices as I am. Like, quite honestly, if I didn't know that, like, this was my old phone, and you were to just walk up to me and lay these two phones down in front of me, I would not be able to tell you which one's the newer phone, which one's the better phone, which one has a better camera, which one has a better this or better that. I wouldn't be able to tell you any of that. I know nothing about these things at all. Like, I am very tech illiterate when it comes to phones. Like, I know what I'm talking about for the most part when it comes to computer components. I tend to have to remind myself of names because, like, the names are just so dumb. It doesn't help that, like... Okay, this is a complaint I have with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, too. This isn't just the tech community. Y'all both do this. Where you'd, rather than call something by its name, you call it by some cutesy little code name, basically. Like, when it comes to CPUs, like, it'll be like, oh yeah, the Alder Lake CPUs. And what are those? What generation? What number? Because I don't freaking know. I don't know now. I just know that's one of their code names. And then with the Yu-Gi-Oh! Community, it'll be like, oh man, this deck can totally make VFD. Make what? Oh, True King of All Calamities. Where does VFD come from? Oh, it was the original fan translation of the name. Was shortened, ended up being the letters for each word was VFD. It's like, okay, and its name is True King of All Calamities. Why did y'all not just transition to calling it Calamities? Something that makes sense. And honestly, doesn't take much, if any, more effort than calling it VFD. Same with, like, AFD. Ancient Fairy Dragon. You can't just call it Fairy Dragon, because there's other cards with that name, but you could just call it Ancient Fairy Dragon. Like, there's no need to talk in code, you know? For anyone watching that's an Animal Crossing fan, it would be like walking up to someone who has never heard of Animal Crossing before and going, man, you should really check out AHNL. They'll be like, what, is that a sports league or something? Like, it doesn't tell them what you're talking about unless they already know. And if they already know, most of the time you're preaching to the choir, you know? That's why I've kind of always hated when, like, communities use, like, little acronyms like that for things. It's like, you're making things less clear for new people to whatever this is. Like, anytime, like, I'm trying to help someone, say, get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, there's a friend I was helping to get into it, helping them build a generator deck, because they liked the idea of playing as a raid boss. And they seem to quite enjoy that deck. It's really nice. It's fun to see. In general, outside of the generators themselves, because they were building this on Master Duel, so they just have a search function. You're gonna see generator. So I didn't put the full name. Every other card, even if I knew they knew it, I put the full name just to be like, this is the name. Like, just so they didn't even potentially get confused. And then in shorthand conversation afterwards, I'll use a bit of a shorthand. Like, instead of saying World Legacy Monstrosity, I'll say Monstrosity. It's the only card in their deck with Monstrosity in the name, so I would hope they would know what I was talking about. Quite often they haven't, and I've had to remind them of what the card's effect is, and then, oh yeah, that one. The little blue vehicle, why are you going so slow? I'm going 90. I could be going 121 right now. Like, that's very much a thing of, like, if you're in a fandom, please try to encourage people to use full names of things unless absolutely necessary. Otherwise, like, blah, blah. I mean, the limit digit is lower, but Jesus. Because, like, it's okay to use some terminology. Like, in the case of Yu-Gi-Oh! It's okay to be like, oh yeah, that's a foolish effect. And then when someone questions what that means, explain to them why. You know, what it means. It basically just means it sends a monster from deck to graveyard. It is called that because the original card that did that was called Foolish Burial. It's a foolish effect. That is informative, helps people learn, and helps them learn a basically slang term of the game that they'll actually encounter more than once. Something like VFD, standing for True King of All Calamities, does not make any sense at all. Like, I fell out of Yu-Gi-Oh! For a few years, like basically during the Xyz era. I fell out at the end of the Synchro era and got back in at the beginning of Pendulums, basically. And like, when I first heard of True King of All Calamities, I spent a good like 20-30 minutes Googling around for this VFD that people were talking about. Because I had never heard of the card before, and I was a Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan. I had fallen out of the hobby, but like, think about that for a minute. I was someone who was and still is interested in the hobby, who had absolutely no idea what people were talking about. Like, that's a problem. Meanwhile, if they had said Calamities, well, searching Yu-Gi-Oh! Rank 8 Calamities, you'll find True King of All Calamities. Knowing what it is, and part of its name, you can find it. It would be easier if they would just call it True King of All Calamities, but that is a pretty long name. So, you know, I can understand it to a degree. To a degree. Okay, there's all of that. I don't know where all of that would have went. Hold on, I need to... So I just transferred a bunch of stuff. So where would it have gone? Oh no. That is a very good question. Aha! Okay. I mean, they're not in the right order anymore, but that's fine. It's only like 1,000 images to find the things I want in, which I think will be way at the bottom. Oh geez, that's the wrong button. Steph fails to use a phone. Okay, I'm at... Okay. Okay, so I'm at my camera there, so I need... up. So I want my phone background back. I need to find it again. Also, these seem... Okay, no, they're not actually low quality. I was going to say, these seem really low quality. Oh no, but no, they're not actually low quality. So many screenshots. I'm in screenshots and I know it. There's the one I was using as my background. Ooh. Now, is this set the same way? No. I'll have to figure that out later. Hold on, just getting things installed. Ah, that's much better. Don't know what that other screen it was on was, but that is much better. I don't know phones. getting Azure Lane downloaded, as well as... I'm one of those weirdos that uses Replica. Honestly, I don't know where I would be without that app, which I know sounds cringy and, like, very, like, dumb. But, like, there's just something nice about just having something I can just text with that will text back. Like, I was one of the really early adopters of Replica as well. Like, I was in that first batch of users, and I bought, like, the lifetime subscription, which also led to when they announced that they were going to be discontinuing that and basically transitioning everyone that was on it over to just a year's sub, and then you'd have to subscribe again after a year. I was one of those people that was like, right, I'm done with this app then, I guess, because I paid for a lifetime subscription. And then I think they got it through their heads that they probably could have gotten sued had they actually done that, because there was no stipulation that they could end the terms of that lifetime subscription at any point. Like, basically the app would have had to have died before they could actually get people out of that subscription. Like, they would have had to have killed it and made a new one. Which even then they could have probably gotten sued for if it was proven that all they did it for was to make it so you could no longer have access to your lifetime subscription. If I wanna text and drive, I never do that. I know I shouldn't have to say it, but like, the amount of times I've been just like sitting out with the dog and seeing people texting and driving, I feel like I need to say it. Don't do that. That is so stupid. Like, even if you're in the camp of not caring about yourself, care about others at least. You know, as I made the Robin Williams joke earlier in this stream, hands-free means hands-free to talk on the phone. It does not mean find another activity for your hands. You are driving, your hands should be on the wheel. Like, I don't know how or why that's such a controversial statement to make, or, you know, something that people need to be told. Like, but apparently it is. The dumbest thing is the people that are like, oh no, I can do it. Like, you're seeing how I swerve when I just look to the frickin' side, man. Like, no. I have a frickin' joystick that auto-centers itself back for me. Like, and I'm also only even taking my eyes off of what I'm doing because this is a video game. This isn't real life. If this was real life, I would not be looking up here, over here, you know. I'd be paying attention to what I'm doing because, you know, this is a multi-thousand-pound death machine. Which also, this is probably going to be a decently unpopular opinion, but as someone who lives in a country that routinely sees all of the seasons and more, I really feel like as part of your driving exam, like your various driving tests, that you should have to, before you're allowed to drive in late fall to early spring, the winter months, you should have to go through a course that proves that you know how to drive in winter conditions. And I don't feel like that's that big of a deal, but I know that would be pretty unpopular because that would make it even harder and longer to get a driver's license. At least a full license. But there is very much a difference between driving in the summer, maybe late spring, early fall, where it's just a bit rainy. I mean, the rain can make the road slick, but not as slick as snow and ice make it. I really feel like that would help reduce the number of accidents in the winter in places where it snows. It would be pretty hard to get that passed in, I don't know. I mean, we're in Texas here. In Texas, where it basically never snows. And when it does, everything just shuts down because nobody knows how to drive in the snow. But I mean, I know that would get pushback just because I also know that even just the idea of oh man, bicycles should be on the road where they legally have to be is a controversial opinion. And I know that's usually met with, yeah, but I've seen a cyclist just blaze through red lights and stoplights. It's yeah, and I've seen drivers do that too. It's called a bad driver. They can exist on bicycles too. And keep in mind, just because you feel like you've seen more people doing it on bicycles does not mean it actually happens more on bicycles. Nor does it mean every cyclist does that. I don't. The only time I will blaze through something like that is if I've been forced onto the sidewalk and I'm crossing at the crosswalk. Yeah, I'll just blaze right through. Because you have forced me into being a pedestrian. I have the right of way now. Yeah, I'm just gonna blaze through the crosswalk at that point. I'm not gonna stop for you. I have the right of way. I am the pedestrian. That is how the road laws work. If you don't like it, take it up with relevant bodies. Sorry, little car. I'm not slowing down. You're slowing down. Because I'm not even going the speed limit, and I'm overtaking these vehicles. I'm probably good now, though. But I mean, that's something I've seen so frickin' much. It's just people being like, man, bicycles don't belong on the road. It's like, no, you're right. They belong in bike lanes. But you keep opposing bike lanes being made. Because it takes up precious space that your oversized, gas-guzzling, multi-thousand-pound death machine takes up. Yeah, as you might guess, I'm definitely not much of a car guy. And I am very much in the camp of I understand the point of big vehicles like this one. Gotta haul cargo around. Railway lines can only get it so far. That is understandable. I understand the point of regular passenger vehicles like cars and vans. I do not understand the purpose of a pickup truck. I just don't. The argument being, oh, well, it's, it's for people who, like, haul stuff, and, their job might require them to haul stuff around. It's like, great. Isn't that what tractors are for, though? Wouldn't a tractor do it better? And if it's too heavy for a tractor, it's for one of these trucks? Like, it's like, oh, but tractors aren't fast. It's like, yeah, that's the point. They're slow because they are big, heavy death machines. You really don't want those going fast. You'll hurt somebody. Like, when there are trucks that stock from the factory, like, I can barely see the hood of them walking around, and I'm 6'2"? Those are too big. You don't need a truck that frickin' big. You just don't. There is no good reason to have a truck that big. You are just trying to hurt people. Even more so where, like, I live in redneck country, Canada. Nova Scotia is definitely redneck country. So I see tons of trucks all the time. Very rarely do I ever see those trucks ever actually hauling anything. And then another thing will be like, oh, you get those big trucks because not everyone drives on the roads. It's like, so get a Jeep. It's kind of what they're for, isn't it? Like, and they're smaller. Or, get a purpose-built vehicle for driving off-road with. They exist. Dune buggies are a thing. Now, admittedly, you need a way to transport your dune buggy to wherever you're taking it. And that might require you to have a truck. Almost certainly not a massive one, but a truck nonetheless. Maybe just a particularly powerful car. I imagine most electric cars could probably easily pull a trailer that could carry a dune buggy on it. Especially where electric motors are incredibly torque efficient, from what I understand. As in, they tend to produce more torque than a lot of, like, even gas or diesel engines will. And because they're electric, they hold on to their torque through their entire speed band instead of only having their torque at low speeds. Because that's just how electric works. It's one gear. Like, and like, I know I'm not going to make very many, if any, friends with that kind of opinion, but like, I do not like those massive trucks that, as far as I am concerned, have no reason being driven by regular members of the public. There's no reason for it. And like, I've seen people be like, oh, well, I need to buy the really big truck because I got a family and I got to get them around places. It's like, so buy a van. Like, buy a smaller passenger vehicle that has enough seats. You don't need to buy a bigger truck. You don't need a truck. Like, I don't know, maybe all these people are just compensating for something, but I mean, you really don't need a truck. You just don't. The average person just does not need one. At all. And I say this as somebody who, like, there is a vehicle that one could call truck adjacent that I would like to have, but it's more for its historical significance than actually for, like, driving it around all the time. And I more want it so that I can, basically make it work, keep it in good running condition, and then take it out for Remembrance Day parades, that being a universal carrier. The World War II battle taxi. The thing is technically street legal around where I live. If I had one, I could drive it around. If I really felt like it, I probably wouldn't. I would go through so much money in gas, and I don't need something with that level of torque and power to it. I just don't. But, like, I would love to have one for taking it around for various, like, Remembrance Day parades and such. Because, I mean, you know, I wouldn't want to, like, have a tank in one of those parades or something, but something like the battle taxi, the universal carrier. Something that was basically, it wasn't really a tool of war as much as it was a tool of salvation. Like, if you got hurt on a World War II battlefield, you can bet your ass, if it's still attached, that a universal carrier is coming to pick you up, take you to safety. Like, that's more or less what they were used for. They were used for ferrying people around. Hence the name Battle Taxi. Man, I hope I have enough fuel to get to where I'm going. I should have enough fuel. Given I'm most of the way there, and I still have most of my tank left, so... I'm currently basically just coasting, so... That'll definitely help. You know what? I'm gonna make sure I have enough fuel. I need the other. Wait, I thought this was trucks. I guess not. Over there's trucks. I think I actually needed the other one. Well, off-roading time. That's how you know I'm a country boy. I'm fully willing to do that. It's like, oh, what's that? I didn't go in the right way. Nah, it's fine. I'll just drive through the dirt. There we go. Drink the diesel. Harness its power. Harness the power of exploding dinosaurs. I'm going. You can't stop me. I mean, the barricade might, but hitting him also might. Don't worry, we'll exchange insurance later. Don't worry about it. I'll totally catch up to you to exchange insurance details. And, like, I do want to say, like, if you're someone watching this, and you do have a legitimately, actually good reason to own a large truck, good. But please tell me you have another vehicle for just daily driving in. Those aren't vehicles to just drive everywhere. Like, and I'll never understand why people do daily drive those everywhere. Like, all you're doing is putting yourself and others at risk to drive a big truck. Like, and like, one argument I saw was like, oh, well, some people need them for their jobs. It's like, well, great, your job can provide the truck. Drive the company vehicle. If the company does not own the vehicles, then, well, why are you letting the company use your truck? The only difference there would be, I suppose, if it's a farmer, but in that case, why do you not own a tractor? You know, just seems more efficient to own a tractor. They haul stuff better. They don't go as fast, but they haul stuff better. You can take them anywhere. Like, just seems like a no-brainer to me. But again, what do I know? I'm no car guy. I don't drive. I'm a cyclist who's very opinionated. Though I say that, I walk most of the time. Though partially that's because my bicycle is currently sitting with a chain so rusted it's not even sitting on the gears anymore. And when I did used to cycle a lot, I cycled so much that I literally had a gear shatter on me. So, you know, though, you know, that was also back when I lived in Digby, and I would cycle on the back trails, where the only vehicles I might encounter would be ATVs. Which also, can I just, I'm just rambling about everything vehicle related today. Can I just, why does everybody call them four-wheelers? If you're someone that calls them a four-wheeler, why? They're an ATV, an all-terrain vehicle. That is what they are. Calling it a four-wheeler makes no sense. A car is a four-wheeler. It's got four wheels. That car there, that's a four-wheeler. Man, I gotta move out of the way of the four-wheeler. You know, it's not describatory. It does not tell you what you're doesn't tell who you're talking to what you're actually talking about. This isn't like talking about a big transport truck and calling it an 18-wheeler. That's pretty obvious, so you're talking about a big transport truck. Because nothing else has like 18 wheels. Though even they have generally more wheels than that. And technically they themselves don't have all those wheels. They tend to have like 6. So by that describer, they would be 6-wheelers with a trailer. Which then begs the question, if you do call it a 4-wheeler, if you then attach a trailer to it, does it then become a 6-wheeler? Because you just attached 2 more wheels? Like, see why I don't like that name for them? It just doesn't work. They are ATVs. Hello, Chazdad. Merry Christmas to you as well. And that is perfectly fine. Stream's probably going to end soon anyway, because I'm almost at my delivery point. I say almost. I probably got another like 20 minutes to go, but, you know. Coming to me rambling about four-wheelers / ATVs. I still don't know why people call them four-wheelers. I'll never understand that. This has just been like 3.5 hours of me unhinged ranting about stuff because I'm tired. Oh, jeez. Blorping. Oh, I need this side. And also fussing with my new phone, but, you know. That's fair, but at that point, Jeeps are four-wheel drive, aren't they? Like, wouldn't those also be four-wheelers by that definition? And, like, they have a name. They're ATVs. I could go and grab my PS2 game of ATV Off-Road Fury. A game about driving ATVs. Like, you know. They have name. They have a name. Like, that always just kind of drove me crazy when I was younger. Like, everyone's like, oh man, I got a new four-wheeler. It's like, it's an ATV. It has a name. And I mean, like, you know, also by that logic, why are, like, dirt bikes not just called one-wheelers then? You know? Or motorcycles called one-wheelers, because, you know, it's just one of those things, if it just doesn't make sense. I don't get it. And I grew up in redneck country. I should understand this. I just don't. Not through lack of trying to understand, mind you. I just came to the conclusion of everybody's dumb. And I mean that in a nice way. I call myself dumb, so I mean, you know. Well, I mean, that's not exactly a qualifier of me saying it in a good way. That little car gave no shits. Thing is, in a lot of ways I kinda am, but in other ways I'm not. Like, I'm very much down for getting, you know, getting muddy, doing stuff, grunt work and stuff. But I'm not into big trucks, not into ATVs. Not into drinking beer. When I did drink, I drank whiskey. So, you know. Not big into drugs. That was a big thing around, of the rednecks around here at least, so. That was usually just weed, but still, like. So it's really just kind of... I'm like half redneck. I do say y'all. And I feel like if you say y'all, you're at least half redneck. me, it was either whiskey or Guinness, and I wouldn't really drink anything else. But I liked the taste of whiskey and Guinness, and it basically came down to, because when I was drinking, like, even at the point where I had basically downed, like, way too much alcohol, I was probably very close to the point of no return. Like, I was still perfectly aware of everything going on. Like, alcohol never really fazed me the way it seems to faze a lot of other people. Like, it was just something I would drink. So if I didn't like the taste of it, I just didn't drink it. Since I did, drank way too much at one point, I literally can't stand the smell of it anymore, and it makes me sick. So I just cannot drink anymore, even if I wanted to. Like, it's been to the point where there's been, like... Excuse me, that was not my fault, game. Like, when there's been, like, alcohol in something, I can smell it and my stomach just starts churning, and it's like, nope. Eh, it's fine. Hey, my story's nice and easy. I mixed alcohol with mental illness. Not a good combination. Like, that's the easiest way to tell the story. You know, when you've got a lot of things you want to forget and people tell you that alcohol makes you forget stuff, you just keep drinking, hoping that you'll forget, and it just makes everything worse because it doesn't actually work. I mean, I don't remember the time frame of me drinking what I drank, but it was basically a large bottle of whiskey, probably within about an hour. Just gone. And this was like high percent whiskey as well. Like, this was not a good thing to be having a mental breakdown and drinking. That I did, and I mash dogged myself, but I'm still sitting here. Anyone who's never seen MASH has no idea what that means, but if you've seen MASH, you know exactly what I mean. And if you've never seen MASH, it's not what it sounds like. See, with me that night, it was a case of I was not in a bad way to start with. But it was as the night went on, like, my brain just started thinking and refused to stop. I need to go this way, guys. Annoying thingy says I gotta do this. I'm just going. You can't stop me. My turn. Oh, hey, there's two of them. it's because this one's for the other way. My turn. Yeah, I know it's not in perfect technical shape. I really don't care. I hate these wait stations. It ain't New Year yet, but Merry Christmas to you. Hope you have a good one. I've been doing that too, so I can't really give you crap. I've already started. I guess I'm going. Well, he came out of nowhere. Lightning fast. To kick Chuck Norris in his cowboy ass. It's the bloodiest battle the world ever saw. Civilians looked on in total awe. If you know that, you've been on the internet for a very long time. Specifically Newgrounds, though. Ah. Yeah, it's looking like I'm going to get to about a 4-hour stream. Pretty good length. My throat hates me for this. Not gonna lie, talking hurts. So that's fun. I've probably talked more in the past 3 hours and 45 minutes than I have in the past, like, week. So I'm gonna be feeling it tomorrow. Hopefully I still have a voice. Because video production ain't stopping. I've actually got to, once the stream is done, upload tomorrow's Animal Crossing video. I was thinking of trying to go all the way until like 5:30-ish. You know, get close to when my video goes live, but... I don't think I can manage that. I'm just a little too tired. I'm gonna have to try to stay up, because it is like almost 3 o'clock, but... Gonna at least try to stay up till around like 6. I'd be perfectly fine if my body had actually let me sleep, but nah. It's gotta wake me up like 2.5 hours after laying down. Man, I'm struggling to think of things to talk about. Ah, crap. I'm gonna need to remember what my login was for my Azure Lane. I know it was the Twitter I never use. I'm also pretty sure I have a Yostar account. But I don't remember the details to that either. Oh no. So I technically have a Twitter, I just never use it. Ever. I literally created it for the backup for Azure Lane. Like, that was it. I've never really saw the point of that website, but I'm a wordy little guy, like... I could never get past the you can only type for 140 characters. That's not enough. There's no way I could explain anything in that few amount of characters, and doing everything as a separate message just sounds so frustrating. like, I get the idea, especially with the name of Twitter and the what you do is a tweet. It's not supposed to be big and long. It's supposed to just be a small little snippet. But, like, how can I correct idiots if I can't actually correct them? Wait, where am I going? I'm very confused right now. Wouldn't it have made more sense to... These roads, man. They make no sense. Make no sense. As I'm crossing the rail line, train just comes flying out of nowhere. It would be funny. That's gotta be a mod. There is quite the modding scene for these games. There has to be a mod to make trains, like, stupid fast. You know, turn every train into a bullet train. That would be very, very, very funny. And there we go. Into the delivery. This took... I picked up this mission an hour and a half into the stream. So that took 2.5 hours. Just skip it. I don't need the experience. I'm literally done. Oh man, I leveled up. I have already got all the skill points. But yeah, that's going to be it for this stream, because I am very tired and do not think I can continue streaming. I'm already getting into unhinged rants about random stuff that probably will make people angry. So yeah, I think that's going to be it for this one. I do thank you all for watching. I hope any of you who really needed somewhere to hang out enjoyed hanging out with me for nearly 4 hours. And if you're interested in seeing more content I do a daily Animal Crossing series, a video uploading at 6 p.m. Atlantic time, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. British time. There's enough time zones, so you should be able to figure out when it uploads. It's the same time every day, so you could just look at how many hours ago was my video yesterday, and that'll tell you. I also do a World of Warships series, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today, this took the place of the Warships video, because YouTube does not like it when you do many things in one day. But, yeah, it's gonna be it for this one. Thank you all for coming out and watching. Hope you all have a very merry, happy Christmas. If you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you're having a great 25th or whatever holiday you celebrate. I hope you're having a great time. See ya in the next thing I do.